This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Library Board of Trustees for the Davenport Public Library, the city of Davenport, Iowa. It's Tuesday, January 19th, 2021, and we're meeting in the Brook Room of the Fairmont Library. This is a partially electronic meeting because a fully in-person meeting is impossible or impractical due to concerns for the health and safety of board members, staff, and the public, presented by COVID-19, and also to follow the governor's proclamation and the mayor's executive order directing social distancing and placing restrictions on gatherings. In-person attendance by the general public at a City of Davenport public meeting within its facilities is limited to 10 persons. So with that, we call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda. First item on the agenda is roll call. So we will have that. Amanda Motto.
Here.
Thank you. Judy Lance.
Here.
Thank you. Joe Heinrichs.
Here.
Thank you. Craig Cooper.
Here.
Thank you. Nalavika Shawande.
Here.
Thank you. And Maggie Motto.
Here.
And myself, Steve Emming, is here. And just wanted to mention that Tom Engelman and Sylvia Roba indicated they would be unable to attend the meeting today. Also attending the meeting, we have Marion McGinnis, our Davenport City Council liaison, Tracy Moore, our Library Development Director, Lexi Riley, Assistant Library Director, and Jennifer Williams, Operations Manager.
Laura.
Yeah, and Laura again is from Friends.
Laura Gillis, the Library President. Okay, item 2 on the agenda is the consent agenda. This covers approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes for the December 15th, 2020 meeting, and the financial reports. They have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Malavika, thank you for the second. I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Amanda?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Malavika?
Yes.
Maggie?
Yes.
And my own vote is yes. The motion carries. Okay. Next item on the agenda is public with comment. Seeing and hearing no one, moving on. Next item on the agenda is reports and communications. First item there is the Friends. Laura. You have a report?
Okay. Good. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Nice to be with you. The first meeting of the year. Just a quick update from the Friends. We are still meeting. We are meeting also kind of partially electronically, partially virtually, just like you all are. We are working right now on our board annual work plan, so identifying some goals and areas to focus on for the year. In terms of fundraising and other, programming and events like that, pretty quiet. We're still, the renovations are underway, which I'm sure Amy will give a report about at Main Street right now. So we're happy. We've sent some money over to the city, or at least we're in process of doing that. I don't know if it's actually gone from the Friends account yet. But then we're looking, I think one of the goals that we might identify is to do some sort of in-person kickoff or celebration event. Our kickoff event was postponed, so some sort of celebration event later this year if, COVID-19 mitigation and vaccination measures permit. So that's about all I have for an update.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Any questions on the Friends report? Okay, thank you. Next item under reports and communications is committee reports. Finance? Any report from finance? No, Tom isn't here, so we'll pass on that one. Personnel, Amanda, Greg?
Yep, the personnel committee met with Amy during the last couple of weeks just to go over the 2021 goals. And I put together just a summary of what was discussed, which I'll be sending out soon. Amy and I were just working on finalizing the details of that. So that'll be coming to everyone soon. If anyone has questions on that, you can ask me or Craig or Nagy. We should be able to answer. But I think that's the only updates we have. Anything else, Craig? That I'm missing? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I just figured that out. No, I thought it was very, very helpful, the whole process. And Amanda did a great job of leading.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay, thank you very much. Advocacy committee, Alavika, anything to report today?
Steve and all of us here, I do not have anything to report out, but I would just like to mention how strong and wonderful our social media presence is of the Danforth Public Library. That people talk about it, they get to know of all things that are happening, even though we are closed or open for various reasons right now. So I just wanted to say that it's nice to know when people talk about a wonderful presence that we have of Danforth Public Library. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Malavika. Moving on to the agenda, the next item is under reports and communication is the director's report.
Okay, yeah, so to piggyback a little on what Laura said about the Friends will be working on transferring some of the funds that were raised in the capital campaign to the library. So yeah, their treasurer is working on pulling some funds from some of the investment accounts with the plan to transfer $400,000 to that CIP account. We should start getting bills coming in fairly quickly. So we want to make sure that that account is fully funded, though there already was other funding in it as well. So, so that's where we are with that. Miriam might speak to the city budget process a little bit more, but just to let everybody know that the first budget session was held this past Saturday. One thing that they did share was some of the results from the citizen survey that were conducted. The city does those every other year. And as a really high-level summary, so the library is the second highest rated service. Once again, the fire department again was the #1 rated service. In the general results, 92% of those surveyed indicated that library service is either very good or good. Another 8% said it was fair. So we didn't have any negative reactions to that particular question. So that was really nice. And then a full 50% of the people who responded to that survey indicated that they've used the library in the past year. So I think that that's a really good use rate, and it shows that Davenport residents are using the library. Quick update on the renovation. So it was actually pretty quiet there today. Amazingly quiet given what it's been like. I think they have all of the walls out that they intend to remove. So that's really good. So that will make it less noisy. And I think they've finished all the core drilling for new electrical runs as well. So that's helpful. As you might expect in a 52-year-old building, when they opened some of the walls in the bathrooms and got to some of the pipes that need to be replaced, they did find just a little bit of asbestos. So we're working with the city to get that made. We think will only be a one-day project and really won't impact the project very much to get that done, or in terms of cost, it won't be very expensive. Friday, I noticed something in the renovation that I thought was really exciting, which was that they actually started training a new wall in. So that was really exciting to see that instead of just pulling stuff apart, you're actually starting to do some actual construction and putting things back together again. So the contractor estimates that they are either on schedule or perhaps slightly behind. They did find some challenges in the restrooms, and I think that might have slowed them down a little bit in terms of extra holes in walls that they didn't know they were going to find behind the tile, and things like that, and extra layers of tile. So apparently there have been some renovations done over the years, and they just started layering tile on top of tile. So that created some extra challenges as well. So, but otherwise, I think the whole process is going really well, and the contractor's been really good to work with. So unless anybody has any questions, I think that's it. I did send everybody an email kind of right before this meeting that probably a lot of folks haven't had a chance to look at yet. It kind of summarizes all the different ways that we work to communicate information out to the staff, and then some ways that we also work to encourage staff to share information with us. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Amy. Are there any questions on the director's report? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on. Next item on the agenda for reports and communications is the council liaison. Report,
Yes, Marion here. It's fairly quiet right now at council. We are working on doing our planning, and so we have 2 more Saturdays. Next week is the capital budget, and then the next week after that is the administrator's work plan, and that's sort of where we look at all the final goals. And so that's 8:30. It's actually being broadcast online. Attendance is limited to 10 people from the public. We probably had 2 or 3 last week from the public and their staff. But it is being for the first time broadcast online as well, or it's available online for viewing. And so that's going on. This is our traditional thing that we do. I believe coming up this week, or what we will in this cycle will be approving the downtown Davenport plan, the master plan, which was worked on. And Amy, I think you were probably part of that planning group. As I should have been if you weren't, but I believe that you were. It kind of looks at the downtown globally, doesn't commit the city to any particular funding or anything like that, and that's always a big question. But it looks at the downtown as kind of different areas and different neighborhoods, and some very interesting things there. It'd been a long time since there had been a strategic plan done, and so it's been presented to council, and you've probably seen things in the newspaper, and you'll probably be seeing it again. It tends to make kind of big news when it's introduced, and so that's coming up. But really, it's pretty quiet. The budget, the city is in relatively good shape given what it's been through, what we've all been through in the last year, and so that's good news. It's a fairly it's not necessarily a year where there'll be a lot of additional things added, but it is a year where we're looking probably better than people thought in April, as to I would guess as to how we're looking. And of course, the fiscal year doesn't start till July, and so that's good news, because that is not the shape some cities are in, for sure. So that it's kind of business as usual. We were off in December for most of the month. We had one cycle, so we're back in now at it, and we will be. So if you have any questions about anything you see, always you can reach out to me. And if anybody's missing a kind of pale cat with sort of pink orange fur, it's at my house. It showed up this morning. It's a very sweet male cat, really nice young male cat with kind of orange, pinky orange ears and kind of pink fur. It's very, so anyway, I don't need another cat. So pass it on. It's on Facebook. So, thanks.
Thank you, Marion. Appreciate that. Okay. Next item on the agenda is new business. First item under new business is an action item, motion to approve closing the library on Thursday, October 21st, 2021 for annual staff training. This is usually held in February, but due to the circumstances, being scheduled for later in the year. So we have a motion to approve closing the library on Thursday, October 21st, 2021 for the annual staff training.
I move. Steve?
Thank you, Malavika. I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second from Craig.
Okay, thank you, Craig. I have a motion and a second to approve closing the library on Thursday, October 21st, 2021 for the annual staff training day. Is there any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Judy?
Yes.
Thank you. Joe?
Yes.
Thank you. Craig?
Yes.
Thank you. Malavika?
Yes.
Thank you. Maggie?
Yes.
Thank you. And my own vote is Amanda?
Yes.
And my own vote is yes. The motion carries. Next item on the agenda under new business is a motion to approve a new agreement with the library suite bargaining unit. May I have a motion in that regard?
I can't hear you anymore.
Oh,
It was dead silence. Can you hear us now?
can you hear us now?
I think he's
Yes.
asking for a motion to approve something, but it's a little rumbly.
Okay, I have a motion here from Joe. Is there a second?
Oh,
Second.
sorry.
Thank you,
Craig.
Craig. We have a motion and a second to approve the new agreement with the library suite bargaining unit. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question. What was this before, Amy? Is this a change or just something you have to renew every year?
So there are actually quite a number of changes this year because of change in the Iowa law regarding public employee unions. So that front section where it has all those items that are removed, those are things that we are no longer by law allowed to bargain on. So, so those things were all pulled out of the contract. Some of the big things are promotion and transfer procedures, and then procedures for staff reduction if we would have a budget cut or we would decide to eliminate a position and do something else. So those are the biggest things. And we're working with the bargaining team from the library union. It's a 3-member team. And working on putting new policies in place that would be library policies that will cover those topics. So we'll be bringing those to the board sometime before the new contract takes effect on July 1st. The other big change was really in a lot of the Article 8, which covers scheduling in the contract. Those of you who have been on the board for a long time know that scheduling is always a big thing here because of all the full and part-time staff members we have in the evening and weekends and all that kind of thing. So the biggest change, and we'll be talking about this later on too, would be that because we're open evenings now in all 3 locations, we feel we can manage and we're able to give staff the option to select either a 30-minute or a 60-minute lunch period. So there's a whole lot of caveats that go with that, and procedure and things like that, that will that the union has agreed to, and so that is probably the biggest change to that. And one of the other bigger changes is that right now, if you're assigned to work a Saturday, your preferred day off during that week to work the Saturday is Friday. And what that does is that leaves us short-staffed on Fridays. So the contract is now says that it's up to the department supervisor to schedule staff for that day off during the week to best meet the needs of the library. So those are probably the biggest changes in the contract.
Okay, so is there any further discussion? Okay, if not, I will call for the vote on the motion to approve the new agreement with the library ASME bargaining unit. Joe?
Yes.
Thank you. Craig?
Yes.
Thank you. Alavika?
Yes.
Thank you. Maggie?
Yes.
Thank you. Amanda?
Yes.
Thank you. Judy?
Yes.
Thank you. And my own vote is yes. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is related to the previous one. This is a motion to approve a side letter with the library ASME bargaining unit relating to 30-minute lunch period. I have a motion in that regard.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Amanda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Malavika. We have a motion and a second to approve the side letter with the library ASME bargaining unit relating to 30-minute lunch period. Is there any discussion in regard to this motion?
So just as a little bit of background, when we were negotiating with the union on this, we originally identified as the 30-minute option was only going to be available to staff on Monday through Thursday. As we got further into the weeds with the city payroll system, we realized that that's just not going to work for us, and it's going to have to be Monday through Saturday. Otherwise, staff is going to have to do an awful lot of going in for every staff member and changing punches around and things like that because the system will automatically run correctly. And then we're looking at the implementation. Initially, we were going to implement in March of every year, but because of another clause in the contract that says we post our schedules a month in advance, we would end up having to change those schedules. The staff needs to tell us in February of every year if they want a 30-minute or a 60-minute lunch, because they'll have to take that for the whole year. And so if they tell us in February and we implement in March, the schedule's already posted. So we wanted to just give our supervisors more time so they wouldn't have to review schedules. So that's why we ended that and put that back into May. So this is really kind of procedural items that once we really got, like I said, into the nitty-gritty of implementing this, we realized needed to be changed. And I should say that the union has already agreed to this.
Yes, the side letter's already been signed by the ASME representative. Okay, so is there any further discussion, any questions? Okay, if not, I'll call for the vote. Craig?
Yes.
Malavika,
Yes.
Maggie,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
and my own vote is yes. The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Let's see. Next item on the agenda is a motion to approve opening the library for patron browsing following guidelines established by the Board of Trustees on July 21st, 2020. Just, okay, may I have a motion in that regard?
Move to approve.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve opening the library for patron browsing following guidelines established by the Board of Trustees on July 21st, 2020. Is there any discussion?
When will we be looking at it?
Immediately
or?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know, did you ever hear Joe's question? He asked if this was immediate, and it is. We're open today. We'll have a discussion with the members of the executive committee since we're meeting now, and we opened the library today, and they were in concurrence with opening this morning. The Eastern branch opened at 9. But so anyway, we have that covered. Also wanted to mention that the effectively what we're doing here is modifying the COVID-19 policies. In November, we changed this policy because we got to close the library to browsing and make materials available only through the drive up at Fairmont or curbside elsewhere. So what we're doing here now is removing that and moving that part about the library materials will be available only via curbside or drive up, et cetera, that was put in place in November, and going back to what it previously was. The motion states on July 21st of 2020. So to make a long story short, we're reopening the library to browsing. Okay. Is there any further discussion? Whoops, hold it. No, is there any further discussion? Okay, so we touch base. I did that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the motion on the floor is, or on the table, is to approve opening the library for patron browsing following guidelines established by the Board of Trustees on July 21st, 2020. I'll call for the vote. Malavika,
Yes.
Maggie,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
and my own vote is yes. The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. The next item on the agenda is a motion to approve changes to the library organization chart. That chart and other information regarding the changes is included in the board packet. And the motion to approve the changes to the library organization chart.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Joe, thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Judy.
Second.
Judy, oh, okay, thank you, Judy.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to chart. Is there any discussion?
Does anybody have any questions about what we're doing here? It's really taking one of the positions that is going to be vacant because of a retirement, which is the special collections principal course position. And then the student clerk aid positions that we have, those positions have become really problematic for us because we simply can't fill them. We're having a terrible time finding students that want to apply for these positions. So we're going to eliminate those student positions. We have 14 of them total. Only 4 of those positions are currently filled. And then use that funding partially to hire 3 kind of regular staff member shelvers in a position that's called adult clerk aid in our organization chart. So there'll be one of those positions assigned to each branch. And then using the remaining funding from that, along with that principal clerk position, to fill a full-time supervisor position in the information services department. We're looking at adding some new roles to that department as we, with the renovation of the main library and adding what we're terming a makerspace with more options for different kinds of technology for our users. And that department staff will be responsible for getting all of that figured out and providing the training and oversight needed for that particular role that the library will serve. So Lexi has been supervising that department and she's been doing a really great job, but she's doing that in addition to all the other things she does as assistant director. So we felt that with this opportunity, it was a good time to put a supervisor back in that department. So that's really the summary of those changes. We are hoping and anticipating that at least some of the student clerk aid positions, some of the staff members who are filling those positions will apply for the new positions that we're creating, the new shelver positions. For some of them, it would be a fairly significant upgrade in their hourly pay and the number of hours that they work. But we will likely have one student who does not have a job anymore after March 31st, which is too bad. But we're hoping that the other students, if it's a job that suits their needs, will apply for one of those 3 new vacancies.
Any other discussion or questions regarding the changes to the organization chart?
I want to point out that we're either at 73 or 83 employees down in the left corner, but the math doesn't match up.
Oh, okay. Yes, good point.
My guess is it's actually 73.
Any other questions or comments?
Amy, did you say student shelvers? I mean, is it like college, high school students and college students like?
Yeah, so these are non-union temporary positions. They've been around for as long as I've been at the library.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, basically either high school or college students who were hired to work 12 to 14 hours a week with the primary duty of reshelving materials.
Oh, okay.
So,
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the pay just hasn't really kept up with what you can get as a high school or college student working fast food or something these days. And we've just been really unable to fill those positions. Students in high school in particular, which is where we got most of them from, the students who are kind of really wanting to work are involved in so many things that it's really difficult to get them scheduled to work the hours that we need in order to get the materials back on the shelf. So that said, the 3 new positions, I think would probably be really ideal for a college student because that schedule can be really flexible because they're not covering any public service desk times. So I think it's a really great 24-hour-a-week position for somebody. So.
Thank you, Amy.
And just might also note that the savings from reducing the student clerk aides is what makes up the funding for the new supervisor. Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'll call for the vote on the motion to approve the changes to the library organization chart. Maggie?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Thank you. Judy?
Yes.
Thank you. Joe?
Yes.
Thank you. Greg?
Yes.
Thank you. Malavika?
Yes.
Thank you. And my own vote is yes. The motion carries. We have no old business, so we've reached the end of our agenda, but I had one thing I wanted to mention. And that is actually 2 things, but both on the same topic, and that would be training. So I wanted to mention that hopefully all of you trustees received the Monday morning eye opener from the State Library of Iowa. And just in case anyone doesn't, I'm going to, after the meeting later this afternoon, I'm going to send out one from the Monday morning eye opener from Monday, the 4th of January, because then there is some information about some trustee training opportunity, and that has to do with the debut of the new trustee handbook. This is a very, I think, valuable resource for library trustees. And this handbook is put together by the State Library of Iowa staff. And this training is going to be on Thursday, January 28th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And you need to register for it if you can attend. And that link to register for this training is in this copy of the Monday morning eye opener from January 4th. So I will send that out just in case you missed it or don't receive that. If you don't receive it, please let Amy know so we can get you on the list. There's a lot of really good information in there that comes out every Monday. Doesn't all apply to trustees, but a lot about what's going on in the state and just kind of being aware of what's happening. Let me see. If you're going to register for the meeting, for this training, you may have to register, at least I did. I think most of us have taken at least one training from there. But when I went to sign up for this, I needed to register or actually sign up for the process of registering. And it looks like it's a new system, so that's apparently why. But anyway, highly recommend that to everyone and encourage if you can fit that into your schedule. Another thing that maybe you can fit into your schedule is that, just for your awareness, in another one of the Monday morning eye openers was information about the Innovative Libraries Online Conference, which is being held tomorrow. And this runs all day long. It actually is a virtual conference. And it's about recruiting and training younger board members. And it says in the caption for this, or the summary, that it says millennials use public libraries more than any other adult generation, according to a Pew survey taken in 2017. And this kind of begs the question, this summary says, is why do the majority of boards not have this, what they're saying is a single millennial member? We have some of those, good for us. Anyway, it's about how to learn how to recruit and retain those board members. The portion of this particular topic is the evening keynote speaker, who is, can't remember the name, but I believe the library director from Marion, Iowa. And this keynote speech is going to be from 6:30 to 7:30 tomorrow evening. Short notice, but anyway, if you have to pick between the two, please attend the handbook training, because that's more important and will benefit yourself and our board more. So anyway, with that, back to the agenda, which was time to adjourn. So we have a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Thank you, Malavika. Have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Amanda. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Anyone opposed? Thank you. With that, we'll end our meeting. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Marion, and staff members, and Laura. Have a great day.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.